I'm Christopher Hein, and today we are talking about the forms in Aikido. So Aikido forms tend to be an obsession point for most Aikido students, and the techniques inside the forms tend to be a little less important, and the overall tactics and strategies of Aikido tend to be even less important. And so that's why we have so much confusion in our system. In my approach to Aikido, we kind of look at it from the other way around, which is the strategy of Aikido, the philosophy and strategy is the first thing we look at. Then we look at the tactics of Aikido. Then we look at the techniques. And then we look at the forms last, right? So the forms really are not that important other than a way to collect and remember all the techniques and the strategies and the tactics of Aikido. So it's kind of more of a placeholder than actually what's important. So when people think that the forms are the techniques instead of just a collection of techniques, they think that Aikido techniques always have to end the way the forms end. And that means it has to end in a pin or it has to end in a throw. And that's what's important, is it ending in a pin or it ending in a throw. That's not at all what's important. Generally, what's going to be important in Aikido is that we can get to distance and make a safe accord with someone, right? Meaning the real goal of Aikido is to go, hey, let's not have a struggle, and then we don't have a struggle. That's ideally what I want to do. However, when we get into looking at the forms, we're looking at a situation that keeps having problems, keeps having problems. Now, at the end of that is actually our lowest percentage chance of success. So at the end of the form is actually the thing we want to do least. But most Aikido people think that's the thing we want to do most. So today, we're going to talk about the form of Yokomenuchi Irimi Nage and how that happens. I'm going to get Josh. We're going to go to work. Josh? All right, so we're going to talk about Yokomenuchi Irimi Nage. And we're looking at that form and explaining all the little techniques that are inside of the form. So a lot of times when people talk about Aikido techniques, and they're actually talking about a form, they say, oh, that technique is very unlikely to happen. But the truth is, the Aikido forms are built of the same kind of techniques that pretty much any other martial art would use in that same context, right? So you will see the same techniques that appear in Filipino martial arts, the same techniques that appear in Western European martial arts, right? So all kind of martial arts that are dealing with the same kind of context, which is basically some kind of weapon context, you will see the exact same techniques. Aikido puts them in forms so they're easier to learn, easier to memorize, and teach you a set of strategic goals, but you've got to understand that that form is not what you're actually going to do most of the time, but you are going to use all the little techniques in this, right? So we're going to look right now at Yokomenuchi Irimi Nage. So let's switch positions here. All right, so first of all, let's talk about what the attack is. So the Yokomenuchi is going to be someone coming forward with an attack like this. All right, so again, a little out of the context of this video, but just to understand why this might happen, because that looks silly. If I had something, anything in my hand, a knife, a club, a vase, a frying pan, doesn't matter what I have in my hand, if I want to smash this guy in the head and my hand's over here, I'm probably going to swing it like this, right? So if it was a knife, I'm going to swing it like that. If I want to cut with the knife, I'd probably cut like this. If I had a frying pan, right, we're in the kitchen and I'm upset and I pick up my frying pan, that's the way I'm going to smash this guy with it, right? So that's what this big shot is all about. Okay, so I'm facing that Yokomenuchi. And Josh is coming in with this. So here he's coming in, bang. All right, now, what are my options with this, right? I only really have a few options. Now, with the Yokomenuchi, because it comes from one side and exits on the other side, moving just this way isn't really going to help me, right? So if I were just to move this direction when he swings that, he's probably going to hit me here. If I were just to move this direction, eventually, he's probably going to hit me there. So what I want to do is I have to add a little bit of forward back action, right? So if I wanted to move that angle, say, when I did it, I have to move back when I do it, right? Or if I want to do this, same thing. Or I can move forward into it, right? So as he comes in, I can move forward, right? So this position also will kind of help get me out of that attack zone for him. All right, now, what do I want to do when I move? Well, I don't want to just stand there, right? I'm going to hit this guy because hopefully that will end the exchange. So how do I do it? I do it like this. Bang. Okay, so this is already our second technique. Our first technique is to understand that a yokomen can be thrown. So that's the first technique in the form. Second technique is, one of the options for this is to enter in and smash this guy. Bang. Now, what's really nice about the way I'm hitting him is notice the angle I'm taking. So if I were going to push this guy over, right, the strongest Josh is right now like this is this way and this way. The weakest he is right at this angle, right? So when he comes in for that attack, I'm stepping right to that angle. And then I'm shoving him. Boom. That's what I want to do. Now I'm going to hit him in the face as hard as I can. If I had a weapon, which would be way better, I'm going to be stabbing him with that weapon or using it. And I hope that technique is useful in of itself. And if it was useful and successful, it would look like this. Boom. Okay, now that's the end. I hit that guy. Boom, I knocked him back. Fantastic. That's what I want. Then, from there, I would get to my superior weapon platform, or I would make my escape, depending. If I'm going to fight, I'm going to fight with a weapon in my hand, because if this is a serious situation, I'm dealing with it seriously. I'm not going to pretend box this guy, right? If I could not have to box this guy, then I'm going to run away. If I had to box this guy, well, then it's serious enough that I had to use a weapon, right? So meaning, I'm not going to get into some kind of ego battle where I'm like, ooh, I'm going to teach you a lesson. My life or my lives of the people I love is in danger, and so I'm going to use a weapon now. So when that distance is created, I'm either getting to my weapon platform or I'm getting out. Those are my two options. Now that would be great. If that technique works successfully, it would be absolutely awesome. What if it doesn't? Now, when that hand comes in, I'm going to have you switch sides for me actually. So when that hand comes in and I come to this position, very likely, if this is a big brute of a guy, then I'm going to hit him and I have zero effect. So I hit him as hard as I could, I have zero effect. If this hand is unaccounted for, it will continue to come in and get me. So I hit him hard, boom, bully for me, but he's a brute. He took that hit, and I'm still stabbed, right, or hit with a frying pan or whatever it is, right? So as that strike comes in, I take that position, and this hand comes up. So I'm beginning to get suppression here. Now, this isn't enough because he can go under my suppression. Boop, just like that. Now, if he has that knife in his hand, let me give him one so you guys can see. If he has that knife in his hand, it looks like this. Oh, now my guts are spilling out. That's bad, right? I don't want that. So what's the next technique we learn? I learned to pass. As it comes down, I pass it by. Now, if you look at any weapon-based martial art, you'll see the same pass. In Aikido, it's called Gedan Barai, which means the low sweep or low pass. It's because this kind of attack is super common, and I have to get to this position. So from here, if he goes low and I could track it, I want to push it away. Now notice the way I'm doing that. I'm trying to keep maximum distance here. I pull my body back as far as I can. You'll see lots of pictures of Ueshiba pulling his body back like this. I pull my body back like this, and I'm trying to skate it by. And then once it goes by, I get Ikkyo here, right? So see I have elbow control right there? So I'm trying to keep that arm away from me, right? So that's how I deal with that low passing situation. From here, what do I want to do? Well, strategically, I want to get to the best position I can, which is here behind him. This is the Irimi position. Now here, I'm either going to make my escape or my, my attack if I'm successful with this technique, right? Let's have you go ahead and switch to the other side for me. So here's the first technique. It's a Yokomen. Ah, that happens, right? So I could either be using that or have that used against me. What's my first defense? It's this. Boom, okay? Now, if he's not a big, powerful guy, that's not successful. He might pass. If he passes, I pass low like that, and I get here and assume the Irimi position. All right, now, if I could get to a superior weapon platform, I would. Boom, boom, bang, right? And I'm loading this guy up as quick as I possibly can. If I had something else I could use, if I had a knife or something, I could come down on here with this guy, right? So, or if I need to make my escape, when an armed guy, the only reasonable way to escape is out the back. So meaning I'm going to be escaping this way. That gives me the longest time to make my escape. Now, what if I'm trying to make the escape, but this guy's really on me? So as I go, he's right on me, right on me, right on me, like that. See what a bad position this is? So I can't make my escape, really bad. Or if he's real tight to me like this, and I go for my weapon platform, right? He's up on top of me, and I'm trying to get to my weapon, can't do that. So what I do is I enter behind this guy. I go like this. This is what I do. Now we're going to be struggling here, right? So I'm going to try and pull him off balance. He's going to try to get to me. And this is what leads to a classic Irimi Nage. So as he's coming around, I come here, and I'm trying to drive that guy back. And that was an Irimi Nage. There's lots of ways that Irimi Nage could come off, but that's just one of the examples. Now when you look at that form, you think the objective of the form is to get the Irimi Nage. So in your brain, you're like, the objective of this Aikido technique is to make Irimi Nage. In fact, the Irimi Nage was the worst thing that could have happened in that form. That's the last thing I want to do, because all the other things, I would rather them have worked better, right? I would rather have hit him with the Yokomen before he hit me with the Yokomen. I would rather have stopped him when he threw the Yokomen. I would rather have passed it and got to a successful weapon platform or to made an escape. But none of those things happen because this guy's on it, on it, on it. So when we get to the end of the form, that's the last thing I have to do. It's also the lowest percentage thing I could do. So when Aikido people are thinking about what they're going to do in Aikido, they're generally thinking about doing the lowest percentage thing possible. The highest percentage thing possible is to stay at distance and keep that guy from ever attacking you, which is the main idea of Aikido. But we've made all these failures. In the end, we have to have some technique to help us. The technique is not the form, though, and the form is not the technique. They're two different entities. All right, so this is the technical breakdown for Yokomenuchi Irimi Nage.